Hi. What I want to do today is talk about the Democratic Reform Party from my own personal opinion as the party founder. And you'll have to forgive me, by the way, if I'm reading consistently from my notes throughout this. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to remember the speech beforehand. So what I want to start off by doing is making a comparison between the state and a corporation. Because 2011, the year of the party's founding, was also the year of the protester. Times Man of the Year on the front cover was a protester rather than any individual. And what many protesters were protesting about wasn't only the state and politics as usual, it was, in fact, corporations and the amount of power held by the wealthy 1%. Now, a corporation is a business that's usually owned by investors. And these investors elect managers to do work on their behalf. So in this way, corporations are very much like representative democracies. A democratic state is owned by the people, who elect politicians to do work on their behalf. And just like investors do with a corporation, the people put money into the state. The problem is that we're not really treated like owners. Thus we live in a situation where the wealthy owners of vast corporations can make decisions fairly frequently on the billions they spend. And yet the people in what some claim to be the first democracy in the world have very little power. Have only had 2 referenda in our entire history on matters concerning the whole of the UK. Now, shareholders actually have officially recognised rights to vote on issues that affect the corporation as a whole. And yet the people in the democracy we want the world to look up to have incredibly little voice. So is it really any wonder that revolutionaries across the Middle East, when asked whether they want to have democracy like the British democracy, or like the American democracy even, replied, no, we want something better? The Arab revolutions and Occupy protests were in fact indicative of the times we're living in today. Neither would have been possible without modern technologies and the ability to engage the masses. Indeed, people are already calling this era an information revolution, thus comparing it to the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries. And it's a profound comparison. The Industrial Revolution started here in the UK. It took us from a world where economic growth averaged per annum 0% to a world today where the industrial world has a growth that's expected to be around 2 to 3% per annum. It took us from a world where with millions to a world with billions today, now 7 billion people on the planet. Cars on the road, phones in homes, planes in the sky, none of this would have been possible without that revolution. And now they're saying we're in a new one. But think about what the Industrial Revolution was, what it meant, and what it did. In essence, it harnessed the intellectual and creative capacity of the 1%. Those people with the resources to open factories and seize the ideas of the day, harnessing the manual capacities of the majority at the time. And maybe it had to be that way back then. They were the people with the economic voice, the ability to shout out their ideas to the world and have the world listen. But is the 1% any more intelligent? No. We're all people. We all have the same emotional and intellectual range of capabilities. We all have ideas about our work, about our economy, about our politics, about our local areas, about the social environment. We all have ideas. And it's just that at the time of the Industrial Revolution, only the 1% were well enough informed and educated to come up with such ideas. But hang on a minute. If we're in an information revolution today, then surely we have access, the 99% has access to more ideas, more information and more education than ever before. Entrepreneurialism in the economy, real democracy in the political world, they become more possible every single day. We should become more optimistic about our chances, our prospects every single day. And yet, unfortunately, some of the best-selling political books today